Dan Illman might be a race number 10 at the great race place Santa Anita on Saturday as the granddaddy of them all. Let's take a look at the field for the Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap, going 1.25 miles. So many great names over the years have competed in and won the Big Cap.
It's a very prestigious race. Maybe it's not quite at the level it used to be, Dan, but man, this is a very, very important race in the handicap division. I actually think this is a pretty good field.
Gift Box, winner of last year's Big Cap, is the 6-5 morning line favorite. He might have a stern challenge, however, from the second choice in the race, the number 5 Midcourt. Both of these horses have early speed. Let's see where Timeform US places them on the pace projector, and we see the number 4 Gift Box expected to make the front, the 5 Midcourt not too far behind. It'll be interesting to see what we get from Brown Storm, the number 3, a horse that's shown big turf speed.
Right.
Dirt might be a different story.
I don't know how it's going to translate. He does have speed on the grass. We'll see if he can bring it over to dirt. His dirt form's questionable at best.
The number 1 is Multiplier. Multiplier won the Illinois Derby way back in 2017. Actually ran in both the Preakness and Belmont that year. I've always had trouble figuring out what kind of horse Multiplier is. Is he a long-distance horse? Is he a late-running miler, mile and a 16th type?
Right.
Is he a turf horse? I think that Peter Miller's still trying to figure that out.
It might be all of those things. You mentioned that he won the Illinois Derby as a 3-year-old. That is the last time he won a race on the main track. Not that he hasn't run well in a couple of spots, but that's the last time he won on the main track. He's just one of those horses, Dan, who I sort of feel like he's maybe not quite Grade 1, Grade 2 quality on either surface. They run him in a lot of those races. I still like him. I'm a big fan of his. I don't feel like 1.25 miles is too far for him. I just wonder if this is the right spot.
Good trip last time out in the San Marcos on turf. Just no match for United, who was second in the Breeders' Cup turfs. Probably an underrated horse in the longer distance turf division right now. Last race on dirt was 2 back at Aqueduct. Yes, it was off a layoff, but you look at the horses he was in against. The 5th place horse came back to run second for a 62.5 tag with an 88 buyer speed figure. I agree, the distance should be okay, but he's got to improve. 2:35 is a real honest horse for Richard Baltus, making his second start of the form cycle. The problem is you look at his last 3 lines and you see the bold name of Midcourt in front of him each and every time. Midcourt is his bugaboo. Midcourt's not the only horse he has to beat here.
True enough. I mean, listen, he's come a long way since they claimed him for 25. He's gotten a lot better. But Midcourt really does have his number right now. I don't know that 1.25 miles is going to make that big of a difference in this race for 2:35 especially. And even when you go back to the Brubaker, Dan, it was, or the Comet of the Top, it was only a neck. It wasn't that close. Midcourt ran right by this horse in the stretch.
Brown Storm, the number 3. This is a horse coming from Chile, group winner on turf over there. He's only raced twice on dirt in South America. One was a stakes win against lesser horses. Then in a Group 1, the horse was beaten 25 lengths. He has shown some speed on the turf. This is a big, big ask.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. He's not my kind of horse.
Gift Box is the number 4, and Gift Box, of course, won this race last year after winning the San Antonio. He put together a string of good races. That string was stopped in its tracks in the Stephen Foster handicap. Love what Sadler did. He said, that's it. I can't get him right. We're going to give him a break. We know he runs well fresh. He ran well fresh in the San Antonio. Now, it helped that Midcourt didn't exactly get the greatest trip in here, but Gift Box went right to the front. He backed down the fractions, and if you had any doubts about him off the layoff, they're allayed right now because he can't lose from here.
No, he can't. I mean, he got right to the front this race. As you mentioned, Midcourt just didn't break for some reason in this race, and they sort of changed the complexion. Gift Box certainly took advantage a little bit, but he still ran. It was just one of those merry-go-round races. They went 1-2 around the track. Big 107 buyer off the layoff, though.
And that's not the first big buyer we've seen since he has come out to Southern California and gotten under the tutelage of John Sadler. We remember him from New York as just a source of frustration for Chad Brown losing at short prices every week.
That's right.
He's become one of the better handicap horses in the country and could be the one to catch. Midcourt, though, no shortage of speed when he breaks. We saw that last time out in the Grade 2 San Pasquale going 1.1 1/8 miles. And the way this horse looks and the way this horse runs and the way this horse grinds, I'm not worried about 1.25 miles. Let's watch Midcourt. They were aggressive with him out of the gate. He got a clear lead. He got his confidence up, and he just keeps rolling along in a stretch.
Yeah, he just powers along on the lead in this race, and he just never relents. He doesn't give this field a chance behind him. I sort of agree with you. I'm confident that he's going to get the 10 furlongs just because he stays so strongly in his races, whether he's on the lead or not. I do expect that if he breaks this time, that Victor's going to get a little aggressive with him.
He's never gone longer than 1 1/8 miles, but those two are his best races.
Yeah.
Going 1 1/8 miles where he's just staying on in the stretch. Now, you think Victor's going to get aggressive. We talked about this in some of the other previews this week. Gift Box has speed. He's inside midcourt. Would you, again, play a little game of chicken? Say, I want the lead. I want Gift Box to take a seat.
I mean, I think I've sort of had to reevaluate my position on Gift Box since he's actually turned into one of the better handicap horses. But still, he's the kind of horse I want to take the race to a horse like him. So if I'm Victor, I'm going to try and make the front with this.
Now, if Gift Box gets involved in a torrid pace duel going 1.25 miles with a horse like Midcourt, Gift Box's uncoupled stablemate, the 6 Combatant, is going to be licking his chops because he is a one-run closer. And while with that running style, he's often at the mercy of race and pace luck. He's run some good races. 3rd in the Rebel in 2018, coming on the heels of a 2nd-place finish in the Rebel. They tried to make him a turf horse. That didn't work out. His last race was his first race since being purchased for $220,000 in the Keeneland November sale. They put blinkers on him. The blinkers didn't add any speed to him at all. He was gaining at the end in the midcourt race we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, I like this horse. It just feels like they're asking a lot of him here. He's just going to be outrun early. I don't see the race on his page that makes him a big threat in this race, but maybe the 2 favorites will just hook up and it'll all fall apart.
Hofburg has one race, a 100 Beyer speed figure over a wet track in the Curlin Stakes back in 2018, and well, that's kind of been the story of this horse's life. He's got ability. He was 2nd in the Florida Derby, 3rd in the Belmont in 2018. Belmont's just had a whale of a time getting him sound. And I know last time out he had the ready-made excuse. It was a long layoff in the mine shaft. He didn't run.
Yeah, it was disappointing. It's sort of, I was a little surprised to see him entered back in this race. Mott's going to ship him all the way out here and now run him in a grade 1. Maybe he thought he needed the mine shaft too. Like it sounds like you feel about him. Boy, I wanted to see him make some kind of move in that race last time.
Endorsed completes the field, and don't sleep on Endorsed because Endorsed might be the sleeper. This horse was 4th in the Travers in 2019, and I thought he ran a pretty good race that day, although he was probably on the best part of the track for most of it. After that race, he was laid up. Kieran brought him to Gulfstream. He faced older horses, and I liked the way he won this race. Yes, he's even money, and he's supposed to beat these sort of horses, but let's watch Endorsed's now winners of 2 other then on January the 11th. He is the number 2. This is just a comfortable win. I think this is the way you want a horse to make a comeback from a long layoff. It's a race that you can build on.
Yeah, I agree with that. What I like most about this race is it's not like this race fell into his lap. He made an early move on the backstretch to get into it, and he carried that run a long way to win clear at the end. I really liked that return to the races from this horse. Horse I always liked as a 3-year-old. I just expect him to keep getting better. This is a really tough spot, but it's kind of interesting that he's here at all. I could use this horse somewhere.
Interesting that he's here. Interesting that Hofburg is here. Like Hofburg, keep this horse sound. We might be hearing a lot of great things from him in 2020. Top pick time for the big cap. I like Gift Box to make it 2 Santa Anita handicaps in a row. I just think he's going to go right to the front. I think Midcourt's going to take a seat in here and sit off of him, and I think we're going to get a really nice stretch battle.
It'd be interesting. I'd like to see these 2 horses hook up and see what happens. I'm just going to go with Midcourt. I've liked him for a while now. I like the way he's coming into this race, and I'm not Gift Box's biggest fan.
He still has the upside edge, doesn't he? It's possible we've yet to see Midcourt's best race. We probably have seen Gift Box's. It's pretty good, Gift Box. 4-5-8-2 for me. Mike's a big fan of Midcourt. 5-4-8-1 for him. It's the Grade 1 Santa Anita Handicap. 4:03 Pacific is post time for race number 10 at Santa Anita on Saturday. Good luck.